We can probably move that down just a little bit. I love that this thing is always like backwards. Whatever. I'm like, what is that? It's the blanket. Oh, move that out of the way. A good evening, everybody. It's so funny how this camera, or I should say the camera on this thing it's garbage. I actually have way better like camera quality on my iPhone than I do on my brand new computer. I don't know why the cameras on these computers are so bad. Look at this. I can't get these, of course, because my hair isn't long enough yet. So these little pieces like stick straight out. It's super funny. But tried something a little bit different with my hair today. I might have to trim it a little bit more so I can get the rest of that purple out. But Heather, hi, how are you? I'm waiting for Sarah to wake up. I made a massive batch of spaghetti, like a huge batch of spaghetti. Angel! But while I was doing the spaghetti, because I can't just do things simple. So I caramelized onions and garlic and diced up mushrooms and stuff. Hi, Chris. And all kinds of goodies, right? Like got all that sauteed and got that stuff going. And then I cooked up the meat and then I added all the sauces and then I just let it cook. She's doing okay. I'm not going to say she's great. I'm not going to say she's bad. She's doing okay as, from where she's at. But depression is it's terrible. Because then you just don't find yourself wanting to do anything. And then to top it off with my schedule, and of course I was working so many days in a row. And so she was kind of like on her own and trying to do like her work stuff. But then on top of that, trying to like keep up with like the house and stuff like that. He's good. It's TONKS. But he's old man. They're sleeping right now. Actually, they're in bed for the night. So a lot of stuff has gone undone. And then of course, now that I finally have had a few days off, I finally got in there. So she doesn't know yet when she gets up, but I cleaned everything. So I got the cat room all finished. I ended up resetting everything up in the living room while she was sleeping. So I still want to reorganize the living room because we took down the projector. Now, if you guys are wondering, if you guys have been with us a little bit, we bought a projector for the house. That's okay. Don't worry about it. That's why I gave you the spelling. So that way for next time, you'll know. But we bought a projector and we love it, by the way. Like we love the way it looks when we're doing big movie night, it projects it onto the massive wall that we have. That's like a blank wall. So that's pretty cool and all, except for the fact they didn't make the one we got, the model we got. I should have done some more research. But you have no way, like, especially living in this environment with dust and stuff like that, you don't have a way to get like something in there to blow out the dirt, right? To get the dust out of there. Well, we started noticing that the image had all these like things on it. And then we started noticing that the image was getting harder and harder to see. So when I took and I've only had the projector 2 months. And your birthday's coming up. Awesome. I just had my birthday. My birthday was on Tuesday. So happy early birthday. But we took it down and I was looking inside, like you can look into the lens, you can see like right back into where they have the mirrors set up and it's covered in dirt, like dust that is in the air here because we live in the high desert. And so I tried to like blow it out and stuff like that, but you can't get like into the cavity of it. So I took the top off and I realized that the way that they have it set up, the mirrors are in their own little encasement. So you can't even get to them to blow the dirt out of there. And I was like, you have to be kidding. So the only way I'm going to be able to clean it is if I take the entire thing completely apart. Like I'll have to disassemble the entire thing. So super disappointed. Oh, thank you. And so that really sucks. So we took the projector down for right now until I have the time to I need to get something so that I can properly take it apart so I'll be able to put it back together correctly. And that way I can clean everything off and whatnot. So anywho, so we can't use the projector right now because the mirrors on the inside are covered in dust. So we got the other TV set up out there. Well, while she was sleeping, I did all that. So I got the other TV set up out there so that it works out. I put the smaller TV in here. In the process, I'm totally not showing you guys because it is horrendous. But I took everything out of my closet. Like we have stuff, like I have my own like items, like everything that I own is in this room right now. Like everything, because we're going through everything and I am decluttering everything I own. And there's a reason for that because we will be moving. So because we're going to be moving, I want to make sure that I want to move into the new place with absolutely like everything that can be taken out of the boxes. I don't want anything stored in a box once we're moved. I want everything that we have to be out where you can see it. So if it's not something that I can put out for display or put where I can see it or that it's going to be useful, I want it gone. You'll be turning 25. Nice. Well, thank you, Shanae. Hello. Haven't seen you in here in a while. So I'm just like, I want to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Oh, nice. Nice, Angel. So my room is a disaster. I have them coming to pick up this mattress that I'm sitting on this week. So they're coming on the 30th. Yeah, they'll be here on the 30th to pick it up. So they're coming up on Friday, not this Friday. This coming Friday, because not today, but next Friday. They'll be coming to pick this up because it is definitely not the right fit for me. And so we did the 100 days, or it's actually less than 100 days. You get 100 days to give it a try and see if you like. It's not working. Like my back, it kills me when I try to sleep on it. The first couple nights felt really great, and then it's back to the same issue I was having before. You have a guinea pig. Oh, Hershey. Yosef. Hello. So, by the way, you guys, if you were watching, I think yesterday, so they picked up the kitties, and we should get their ashes back probably around 3 or 4 weeks from now because they're really like backed up. So we'll have those back. Okay, you can go away, McAfee. Nobody wants McAfee. Nobody even cares about McAfee. I'm not a big fan of their thing, so whatever. But tried a different style with my hair today. It's getting long, like you guys. Like this has grown out so fast. Why didn't my long hair grow this quickly? Like what? But okay, whatever. Oh, I think I'm getting a pimple in my eyebrow. Oh my gosh. You got exciting news? Ooh, do tell. But today, well, first of all, yesterday when things were going on, I went into, hi, Leslie. I went in and was telling several people, because these are people that I thought like, like when you join communities and stuff like that, you want to give people information that's helpful, or that like part of your life that you live, you want to include other people in that. And you want to try to get like their feel for things, whatnot. I'll send you a pic of, oh, nice. You're talking to a new Pizza Hut CRS. Our CSR. Nice. Heck yeah. Tiffany. Hi. But so I went into several of the communities that I have been a part of for quite a few years. One of them, the one that I'm going to be kind of discussing, I've been a part of for 4 years. 4 years of monthly subscription payments, 4 years of support, 4 years of where I have given information, where I have exchanged like help, where I've done donations, where I have really been involved in that community, like really involved. And I went into the community yesterday to tell them that, first I had asked everybody this was before everything happened. So actually it wouldn't have been yesterday. Yesterday I went back in there, but the day before. So it would have been on Wednesday, when I went in and was asking people to please send positive vibes and stuff for the kitties because of the last 2 that were fighting for their life at that point. And when I asked for, please, I just really would like for everybody to send some positivity, whatnot, yada, 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 my post got deleted out of the chat. And I was like, what the heck? So I reposted, right? Thinking maybe there was a mistake. And then I get a direct message from one of the community people, one of the whatevers. And they said, I'm sorry, but your post has negative connotations. So I would prefer that you keep things positive. And I was like, so I can't ask the community to send positive vibes our way, that we really need those positive vibes. So I can't ask that of the community that I've been a part of for 4 years. And she says, well, because your post is about something that's negatively happening, we don't want negativity posted in the Discord. What? Like, wait, excuse me? And so I was like, are you kidding me? Like, so I can't ask the community I've been a part of for 4 years to give me some support that I have been supporting for 4 years. You can't turn around and give me that same support in return. And I even put it in the correct Discord channel, right? Hi, Tiffany. I see you, Tiffany. Hi. So I was like blown away, right? Like, what are you talking about? So I messaged directly to the owner of the Discord and was like, I'm sorry, but I'm really confused. I've been here for 4 years and I thought we were a community of people that helped each other out, right? Like that had each other's backs and that gave each other support when we needed it. And that we could always count on each other to, like, if we need something like mental health or support for something that's happening with us, just some positive energy. I thought we could reach out to the channel for that. And she says, we've always been a channel that helps everybody out, and that when we do push for positivity and whatnot. And I said, okay, so I understand that. So why is it not okay for me to ask for positive vibes for part of my, like, one of my jobs that I do? Like, I know it's on a volunteer basis. And I said, but you already know that I do this. Like, you guys have known this for 4 years. You guys have known and followed the rescues that I've done and the fosters that I've done. So why is it different all of a sudden now that I'm asking you guys for some positive energy, that I'm being told that I'm posting negative information? She says, well, you're letting us know that these kittens are in bad shape, and we want to keep things positive. So we want to hear positive energy and positive news. So I was like, so the fact that I'm struggling on my end, right? I'm struggling emotionally and stuff like that because I'm dealing with something super emotional. I'm not allowed to ask the community to give me some support. And I got nothing back. Like, they didn't even answer me back. So today I went in and I posted that I'm sorry, that I thought that this was a community I could reach out to, and that got deleted, right? So then I posted, feeling great energy today, because I got it, today. And I said, I'm feeling great energy today, and I'm going to tackle some things. I think I'm finally making around this corner. And that got deleted. It was a positive post, and that got deleted. So then I messaged into the main person and I said, I'm sorry, but I've given 4 years of support, and the energy that I posted today, all the stuff that I posted today was such good, positive energy, because I felt great today. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm 4 years of support, 4 years of giving to this community and whatnot. And the one time I reach out, because I really, like, I have given so much to the community. I've never really asked them for anything in return. Never really said, hey guys, could you, send some energy my way? Never have I reached out to them. And the one time I did, I got shut down. Like, they shut a wall. I was like, what is happening? Because other people post stuff on there about, hey guys, having a rough start today. Could you send me some energy? Could you send me some positivity, whatnot? Great. We do. We send all the positive vibes. We're all rooting for that person, right? Pulling for each other. But the minute I asked for some positive energy, I was shot down like cold. So I left the community today. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. That community has shown its true colors. If you are not giving them over and over again, and you're not like being right there to do whatever they say, and it's all about them, and it's always about the top people of that community, right? There's like this group of people that you see are constantly in communication with each other, but then other people will pop in and they're just flat out ignored. Like it's almost like they're not even in existence. Their posts kind of get like skimmed over, because the other, like this upper like 15 people are always like the biggest chatters in there, and they're always like bumping each other up and feeding each other's egos. And I was like, wow. Okay. So finally I just left today. I pulled my subscription from them. I pulled all my stuff out, went in and pulled all my posts, like everything, went into the thing, and I asked to remove all media that I have posted and shared with that community. And in the process of me deleting all my media, I got a DM that said, "Hey, where did all the photos of the kitties and stuff go?" To the one person who has always been really supportive. And I said, I'm leaving the community, and therefore I'm not going to leave stuff that I've shared with the community in the community. That stuff is mine. And they've made a choice that I do not matter, and that my mental health doesn't matter to them, and that me reaching out for help is considered negativity, that I'm spreading negativity because I asked for some positive energy. So they said, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I said, no, it's not that I feel that way. It's that it is that way. There's a difference, right? It's absolutely that way. For 3 days in a row, that the community would remove my posts of me asking for some form of energy in return for the energy I've given. So honestly, guys, like, here's how I look at it. You treat others the way you wish to be treated, correct? Like, that's something you get raised with, something you're taught, something I was taught growing up. And I've always said, you always put out what you would like to get in return. And so for years, yeah, I've been a part of that community. And like I said, I'm not going to give names, but that community has been a huge community I've been a part of. I've been a huge supporter of it for 4 years. And this is a community that I used to spend every Friday night with. We used to all get together and chat. We used to hang out in Discord. We used to chat. I mean, like, actually have headphones on in a chat room, all speaking together, hanging out, having so much fun. And just in the last year, things have really like gone into this really twisted mindset with this group. And I've watched as they have made it very clear that the main head of this community, the person who created this community, has become very, I guess you say, because the community got so big, like it's huge now, right? Like, it started off really kind of smaller. This was 4 years ago, 5 years ago for the person, but I joined it. I joined in like subscription wise and support wise 4 years ago. I kind of hung out for the first year, but started off as a small community, right? And then this person kind of blew up. Like, their community just went off the charts. And as of recently, the last year, this person's community has become very self-centered, I guess would be the right word. The main head of it kind of has gotten a big ego. That's the only way I can think of it. This person has a really large ego. And like their shit don't stink kind of thing. And so I've started seeing that over the past year, and I thought, well, maybe that's just me. That's my view. But then I started noticing, like, several people that I used to chat with in the Discord have left, have just disappeared off of the Discord, off of that person's server. But I've seen them come into my server and hit me up and say hi and how are you? I've left the community and wanted to come in and just let you know, hey, I still, you're still chill, and hopefully we can hang out sometime. So yeah, I know, right, Joseph? Hoping you see. Hi there. I'm not sure what your name is, but I'm going to call you Hope. Thank you. It's just, it's one of those things where, I don't know. I think that the person has become very egotistical and very unaware of the people that they've made their top people, like the people that are their moderators and the people that work under them to keep the community moving along, have made it to where you don't feel welcome there. Like, you don't. Like, there's no welcoming feeling anymore. I would come into chat during a live stream. I've met plenty of people with big egos, right? Small communities are a great thing. Bigger ones become so focused on their own bias. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so for me, it was one of those things where over this last year, I would come into chat during a live, and I would come into chat and I'd say, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? And I'd get no acknowledgement, and before I would. And it's usually the people that have their big, marker that shows that they're say, for me, a 4-year subscriber who's been there for 4 years, you have a colorful whatever thing on there, right? What do they call it? Like your badge or whatnot. And so I'm not on Instagram right now, Heather. Or F4F or spamming links in chat. Yeah, I know, right? But the craziest part is it would get totally looked over. And I was like, okay, what the heck is happening? And usually they're really big about talking to the people that have been there the longest, right? Like this person usually can pinpoint by your badge who's in chat. And people that they've known for a long time who are repeat people who are at not even kidding you, every single stream, every single event, every single charity poll, everything, always there, always supporting, always donating, whatnot. That was me. So I was like, what the heck? So I would get completely passed over. And then I would be like, hey, what's for dinner, everybody? Anybody cooking anything good tonight? And I'd get one random person that wasn't even a part of the community. It would be just somebody who just dropped in and be like, hey, I'm having this tonight. What you making? And then I'll type it and I would answer that person in the chat, hey, this is what I'm making tonight, yada, yada, yada. And we would start chatting, and then somebody else would chat in about the food that we were making, whatever. And then I would get all of a sudden something from the person streaming and be like, why are we all of a sudden discussing food in chat, whatever? That's not even part of what the discussion's about. And I'm like, well, you chose to ignore the start of our discussion. We threw out a hello. We threw out a, hey, anybody doing this tonight? And they're over there talking about something that is something on Twitter or whatever. It's not even that important. It's not even something, whatever. I thought we were in a community where we used to talk about how each other was doing for the day and what was going on in our lives. Because that was why we were there. That is why we as a community got together, so that we could all hang out and talk about who we are as people and not talk about what's freaking on Twitter and trending on Twitter. Nobody gives a crap. If I want to know what's going on Twitter, I don't want to listen to it in somebody's chat. I want to go on to Twitter and find out, right? I don't care about Twitter. I'm not there in that community at that time to worry about social media. I'm there to offload for the day and to have a group of people that we can chit chat with. And so one time during that, I was like, you guys are having your discussion. We're having ours. We're the ones that are ignored in chat. We're the ones that are looked over. So if we want to have a chat, we're going to have a chat. And I got timed out because I got mouthy. You know what? I'm 42 years old. If I want to be mouthy because you choose to ignore the mass majority of your chat anyway, what does our chat, or what does our discussion in your chat have anything to do with you? You can hang out with the people you're choosing to pick and choose from your chat list, right? You've got a whole chat happening and you have only chosen to speak with those top 15 people. So continue on. We're here to watch and run your stream for the support issue of it, right? So giving our support to keep your stream alive, which is cool, right? Because I figured they're going to get over that hurdle, right? I figured this person would eventually get through the big-headed, oh my gosh, my stream channel has blown up. I'm really big now. This is so cool. Made partner, all that kind of cool stuff, right? So cool beans. That's awesome. Eventually people get past that kind of ego stage, right? They get that big ego it inflates because everything's kind of gone cool and whatnot. And then they kind of tame back down again. And they kind of come back down to earth. I figured I'd wait that out, get back down to earth. But this last 3 days proved to me that I needed to leave. So I left the community today, officially pulled all my stuff and pulled my support, all that, and walked away. Because I can take that support and give it to somebody else who's appreciative of it. And I think that was probably the smarter thing to do. You know what's really grinds my gears? When people only speak to mods. And that's the thing. This person got to the point where they only speak to the mods. And there's 2 other people that are top, have been there, have been subscribers from the minute that they made affiliate. And I didn't I didn't subscribe until that person made partner, which was in 4 years ago when they got their partnership. So when they got their partnership, I subscribed. I didn't subscribe while they were an affiliate. I waited to do my subscription until they became a partner. So, right, because I think they were streaming for like less than 3 months and they made affiliate. Once they got their affiliate, then people that subscribe during their affiliate subscription are the people that this person still talks to. But that was only a handful of people. That they only had like 20 people that subscribed at that time, that were like first time subscribers and that subscribed for like 3 or 4 months in a row. So they're like the number ones, right? And then you ended up getting all this other people behind them. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, I actually moderate an art server on Discord. And I'm always trying to acknowledge everyone, not just select people, although it does make me sad when I see regs leave. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I've been a part of that community, like I said, for 4 years, or like part of it for 5 years, but subscribed to it for 4. Yeah, personal experience, right? Exactly. And so for me, I was just like, wow, I didn't think that it would ever get to a point. I think the biggest issue for Whatnot is I'm not your average kind of like talk about everything. And when it comes to like certain communities, and I'm not big about social media, trending topics, stuff like that. I'm not big into that kind of stuff. That's not me. I don't follow trends. I don't keep tabs on, things that are happening wildly in social media because there's too many important things that are going on right here in my own town, in my own home, in my life. And so I don't give a crap who Kim Kardashian is seeing. And I don't give a crap on how many items she's got going on or whether or not her and her husband are getting together or whether or not Khloe, I think that's what her name is, Khloe has had facial reconstructive surgery. I don't care. Like, what? Who cares? Like, that's not news. That's not important. Like, what? You like to get to know people on a personal level. Me too. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like, that's how it was in the beginning. Basically canceled, meaning their channel got shut down when all I did was post something on Twitter on how I was feeling about the whole issue. Whoops. Right. But no, I find it weird when you have been a part of a community for so long and you have put into something for so long and is shown to be a big supporter for years, and then all of a sudden be completely shut down by these people. And I'm just like, wow, like what happened? What happened in that community that all of a sudden we're no longer allowed to ask? As like, we're not allowed to ask. That's the difference. Like if somebody wants to send you positive energy, they'll send it to you. But if the minute you ask somebody to send you positive energy, then you're being negative because you've come in here and you're already feeling all this negative energy. So now because of your negative energy in the chat, we're removing your chat comment or we're removing your post because only positive posts allowed. Well, damn, how can I post anything positive if I'm being treated so negatively, right? Like, what? How does that make any sense? Like, somebody explain this to me. So I'm glad I left. But that's my rant on communities, because I think community buildup is so good when it comes to smaller communities. And this is why I told people when I first started seeing our channel grow, that I didn't want our channel to get past 5, not 5 people, but 5,000, because we are just under that. And I'm so glad it has stayed that way. We have such an amazing community here on YouTube, like under Life's Next Steps. And we have such a great rapport with everybody. And we have our group of people that come in here that we sit and we talk with. We got Yosef, we got Leslie, we got Shania. Now we have, I don't know what your name is. I'm going to say Hope. We have Hope in here. Heather's been in here. We've got Tiffany. We've also got Chris and what's his name? Jeffrey. And we got two different Samanthas that come in here. We call one Sammy, one Samantha. We've got quite a few of you. I mean, like, my goodness, who else do we have in here? We've got the two Debbies that come in. So it's just, like, we have this community of people that come into our chats, and it's so nice to sit here and have those conversations and hang out with each other. And like I say, we get people in here that are like, hey, I'm having a really bad day, or hey, this is stuff that has really hit me hard this week or whatever. And we're here to build you up. We're here to talk to you. We're here to give you that energy that you're looking for. And when I came on here the other day and I was in tears and fighting tears because of anger, I was so angry with the community, first of all. And then the fact that when I needed people to pull together and give me some positive feed, some positive energy while I was battling to keep these kittens alive. Like, I knew, though, in the state that they were in when we got them, that it was already a losing battle. We already knew that. One, because they were neonates. Two, because they were kept in, I don't even know how many hours or days they were kept in the condition they were in. And so they had already started on a really bad foot. And the condition they were in when we got them, the two that were completely listless and weren't really responsive, I knew they weren't going to make it 24 hours, and they didn't. The other two really gave it a fight. But the last little one, Storm, she hung on the longest. She pulled almost a full 2.5 days of fighting for her life. And all I wanted was people to respond with, we're sending you all the positivity we can, hoping that these little ones pull through. And I got shut down. And the thing was, I reached out to that community because that's the community I have been a part of for 4 years. That is the community that I have when things were going terribly wrong in our lives, when we lost the house, and then when COVID happened, and then living in the RV and everything happening with the RV. This community was a community that reached out to us and gave us advice and assistance and sites to go to and places to go to get assistance for the RV and all the things that were going on. And so I'm like, this was the community that I turned to when I needed input, right? So when I'm here on YouTube, I'm here for you versus you being here for me. So you guys, I'm here for you. I'm here to hear you. I'm here to be a part of something and to maybe even give you guys a smile on your face and maybe make your day. Maybe you're having a rough day and maybe just sitting back and chatting with me in a chat helps you out. That's what I'm here for. So when I go to that community, I'm going there because I need something in return. And so I'm going there because, hey, I'm giving you my support and I'm putting in my time and I'm giving you all the things that I have in me to you today. So all I need from you in return right now is some positivity. That's okay. Thank you, Hope. I'm going to call you Hope. I really hope that that's okay. I'm just going to call you Hope. And I just, I think that reaching out to that community and then being completely shut down, I think hurt the most because of the fact that I really did need some good energy at that time. I was really battling. It is. Okay. And so I don't know. I was disgruntled. Okay. I was like, wow. 4 years of support given, 4 years of so many hours. You guys have no idea how many hours I have spent in that community, online with that community, and hours of gaming time that I've put in with that community when I could have spent that time somewhere else. And that support could have gone to someone else. And so I'm like, I gave 4 years of time to a community. I guess you'd say lesson learned, I should have walked away from the support over a year ago, roughly a year ago, which would have been right after we moved out of the RV back in June when we moved out of the RV last year, June of 2020. I should have that at that time. That's when I should have pulled my support of that community, because that's when I started seeing the big shift. Like the community had blown up. Like, whoa, 2020, that the community went absolutely haywire, insane. And I noticed that there was quite a few of us that have been there for forever, that have been longtime community members, would be completely ignored in chat. People that used to be big parts of the conversation, all of a sudden were being completely disregarded. Like their comments, or like she would say something, like the community leader would say something. Yeah, it's a she, would say something. And, you know, all of us would have, like, we would all communicate what it was that she was asking, or she put a question out there and want opinions. And the only like people she was responding to at that point were these top 15 people. And we were like, what happened to the conversation? Like, what happened to getting the input from such a large part of the community that she used to do? And it became like this part where this huge group of us that were still huge supporters, like, we're just like, what's happening here? And we would give our opinions on it, and we would all be trying to like pitch in on the conversation that was being had from the streamer. But yet we would, like, it was like we were being completely disregarded, like we were being completely ignored. And so we would start having the same conversation, but amongst ourselves, right? So then we would be giving our opinion to each other and talking to each other about how we view it, whatever. And so we started doing the reply part so that we knew who we were talking to, because then it'll tag you in on Twitch. It'll tag who you're talking to and who you're replying to down the list. So then it became very clear that we were having a conversation, and it had nothing, like, it was still the same conversation, but we were no longer directing our replies to the community leader. And then we would get called out for having a separate conversation, even though our conversation was exactly the same one. Like, we were still giving all of our opinions in reference to what they were talking about. And we would even at the person like that she made a comment to, or like who she was actually talking to. So we would at those top 15 and like agree with them on something they said to the streamer and whatever. And so that way they knew we were still part of the conversation that was happening, but we were being, even from those people, those top 15 wouldn't even reply to us. So we were having our own conversation at this point on the same topic. The art server too. I mean, it was chaos. That month, 5 new users joined and troll. It was too much. I took a break, came back to a dead server. Yep. And that's what happens. But this person, I don't see their server going anywhere, and I definitely don't see their community going anywhere. They are massive now, like beyond. Like, this person now can make a full living off of their channel, and the amount of support that they have. So me walking away isn't going to really do anything to them. Like, they're not even going to notice that I'm gone, put it that way, except for the one person who actually hit me up, was like, hey, where are you going? You know, why are you taking all these things and leaving? Like, are you leaving the server? And I said, yeah, I'm leaving the server. Like, there's no point in me being here. If I'm going to be, every time I try to make a post, it keeps getting deleted. Like, what is that? If I go into the regular chat and to the regular Discord chat, like the just regular general chat, and jump into the conversation that's happening when someone asks a question or wants an opinion on something, and I give my opinion, why are every single one of my chats being removed? And then I'm getting a DM that says, removed your comment for whatever. And I'm like, so I don't understand. Like, why am I being targeted and being removed? If you wanted me to leave, why not just say, could you just leave the server, please? Like, that would be more honest than to continually degrade someone and keep smacking them with removing their comments when their comments are part of the conversation and are 90% of the time completely positive, because I'm a positive energy kind of person. And so to have somebody just be so blatantly negative just was like, wow. So yeah, so that happened. And so I guess you learn over time, like where you're welcome and where you're not. And clearly I was unwelcome. After 4 years, people decided I'm not worth their time. So I was like, all right, peace out. But other than that, my room's a disaster. I have got everything out. I'm not even kidding. I have got my whole desk is stacked with stuff. My side table over here with my piano, everything is just piled with stuff. I've got stuff down here on the floor. I've got stuff all right behind you guys, all right here on the floor. I've got every basket out, every article of clothing, every little box. I mean, it's an overwhelming look, but I'm going to go through that stuff tomorrow because that's my last day off of the week. And I'm going to try to, I've got seven. I've got 7 black totes. My goal is to get everything into those 7 black totes. Everything else, box-wise, crate-wise, all of that, I want it gone. So I want to get everything I personally own into 7 black totes. And if I can do that, that'll be awesome because that would mean those are the things that I can display out when we get moved. And I have 2 more viewings of 2 properties. One property, I told you guys about the fact that I went and saw some other properties. And wow. The one property I really like, you guys, like I really, really like it. There's only two big things. So the one major thing was that it's got gas. And I've told you guys before that I'm not a fan. Like I live here and I have to run my cooking and stuff run on propane. I can't stand it. I don't like having gas in my home. It's a PTSD thing for me. I have absolute fear of natural gases and gases, which was one of the biggest things I think that drove me crazy in the RV was cooking with gas. I was terrified. I'm not even going to kid you guys. I was so terrified cooking with gas. But I'm not a fan of it. And so I wanted to have them do a conversion on the property if possible. They weren't willing to do the conversion before the sale, which would include it in the sale, which didn't make sense. So I would have to, if I wanted the property, then I would have to do that and then do the conversion, which is would not be part of my loan. I would have to pay the conversion out of pocket. So that was a big no-no. Secondly, there's no fence. Even though all the photographs showed that there was fencing, when I got out there, they had removed all the fencing. They apparently had removed the fencing about a year ago because they had intended to do some new setup of fencing. So they were going to do some different stuff. It's a hazard, of course, that are worried. Yeah. So that was kind of a kick because I really like this property would be such a great fit for us. It just would need 2 things done in it, which would be the conversion of all the gas stuff to electric, which was just changing out the stove and the big ovens, the wall ovens, and changing out the hot water tank and changing those items. It just needed those 2 items because I made sure, because I wasn't sure because it didn't state in the listing, but the air conditioning and heating were all electric. So that was cool. It wasn't gas heating. So there was no furnace. It was just forced air, electric heat and air. And then the only things that needed to be changed would be change the hot water tank out for an electric hot water tank. And then to change out the stovetop because it was an island stovetop. So change that out to all electric and get rid of the gas lines and change out the wall oven into an electric wall oven and take out the gas lines. And all that would entail would be replacing the outlet because you'd need a bigger styled outlet for a gas or for an electric oven. So you would need that change out, and the electric stovetop would also need a different plate or a different plug because it's a whole different thing. That would need to be done, and then the fencing would need to get put up. And those would be included in the price if the owners now got it done. So if they did it before the sale, the money would be added into the price of the sale, and then it would be covered under my loan, which would be great. But they don't want to do it. So unless they decide to change their mind and jump and get that done, that's kind of what's on the plate. Like that's what we offered them was, could you do these items here and include it in the price? Add it to the price, I should say. So like go from this price to this price and it will still be covered under our loan. And so we'll offer you this much instead of what you're asking. We'll offer you more than what you're asking if you would do these items. And right now they've turned us down. So I have a couple more places I'm going to go look at. One of them has a huge potential because I'm really thinking about doing this. I don't know, you guys, I'm going to give you guys this information. Tell me if you would do the same thing. So the place that I'm going to go look at has a completely detached. It's not even attached to the house. It's on a separate section of the property, and it is a full casita. So if you know what a casita is, like an in-law suite. So in this in-law suite, though, the way they set this up, it has a small kitchenette. So it has a mini fridge. It has a double burner cooktop and a microwave. Like it's a microwave convection oven, and then a sink, right? So that's your kitchen. Then it has a bathroom, a full bathroom. So you got your shower, you got your toilet, you got your sink. Then it has a living room set up, like so you can have like your little living room space and a bedroom in it. So it has like a small bedroom. It fits probably like a full-size bed. So it's its own little functioning apartment, so to speak. So that's on the property, and it's separate from the main house. And the main house is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's really beautifully done, double car garage. And the fencing is set up so that you could technically give a completely, like if you put in the one fence along the one side of the house, it would separate the 2 yard spaces, right? So you would have a completely separate thing that would give you your yard and then the casita's yard. And it would allow for you to put like a closed off backyard on the casita, and it would allow you to have a carport put in front. And I thought about if I can get something like that, we could advertise the casita as an Airbnb so that people can come and rent it when they want to come out here. It's really close to the river. So that way they could, like, if they wanted to travel out to this area, they could do that. Got to go to bed, have to get up early in the morning. All right, Leslie, have a good night. So I thought if we could get a place that has that, or maybe even build something like that on the property that we get, that would be a really good source of like some revenue to help pay back on the loan of the property. And oh my God, do you hear that? That's the water cooler. Water cooler got attitude. What is happening with the water cooler? You good? Got a little bit of attitude over there. It just started doing that. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is that like something, if you could do that yourselves, would you do that? Because it would be completely separate from our own property. So yeah, the people would be able to come up there and rent the casita, but they would have no access to our yard. Like our yard would be gated off from the casita yard. And we'd be able to rent it out to people that even have pets, because then they'd have an area for their dogs to run around for a little bit and allow their pets out. And they wouldn't have to worry about trying to find a place that was pet friendly because the casita would be pet friendly. I think I love that idea. I love the fact of being able to do that. So I'm thinking I want to do something like that, and why not? So yeah, if I can get this place is further down into the valley, which I love that area down there. It's so beautiful out that way. So I might that might be a really good idea, but we'll have to see. Because it is the area that it's at, it's not like people travel to that space to like get out of town or whatever, when they want to travel. But because of where it is, I don't know what the cooler's doing. But But yeah, I think that that would be a great idea. I would hope that anyway. We could always give it a go. If not, then we can do a like rent it out or whatnot. I'd like to rent it out as like either like a little vacation spot, but I'm not going to rent it out on a long term basis. It would be something that would be like a night or a week. So it'd be like a weekly basis or something like that. Someone can, if they're coming out to do something or to look around or whatever, you know what I mean. But yeah, I want to do something like that. But I cannot believe I got so much. I cannot wait till Sarah gets up. I want her to see what I've done. I'm kind of excited for her to see what I did today. And I don't know because I didn't check to see if my cousin and them sold that table yet. I told her if it's still available, I will buy it from her. But I have been looking everywhere for this one style of table with chairs. And it's the style of table that's really tall with like the bar stool style chairs so that the table is up like way up. And I really, really, really want one of those. But every time we go to like where we got our furniture from, I've been going there to see if we can do a table setup from them. But every time they're always out of them. They only have like your standard style table. And so they're always out of the tall setup. And I won't go anywhere else. I'm never going to Rent-A-Center. I go through Aaron's, not sponsored. I love Aaron's. And so I get my furniture and stuff through Aaron's. And needless to say, so went over there to look and they didn't have it. But then my cousin posted that they had their 4-seater one that they were getting rid of. They're going to sell it. And so I told her, I said, I get paid on the 26th. If you still have it available, I'll buy it from you. If not, that's okay. If somebody else comes along and is willing to buy it from you, sell it. That's fine. If not, and it's still available, I will buy it from you on the 26th. So I don't know if she has sold it yet or not, but if they haven't, I will definitely buy it from her because it's exactly what I'm looking for. It's got the right color scheme that I'm looking for. It's in really good condition. They're really picky about how well they take care of things. So I know that it's in great shape. And so I'm like, I hope it's still available then. But then again, I know that they wanted to get it sold. So either way, I'm okay. And then the other big thing is that property with the casita, you guys, if I get that property, it has a massive yard. And one things that I've wanted to do since I've lived out here, Pallavi. Holy cow, Pallavi, I have not seen you in here in forever. How are you, ma'am? But I want to get a swimming pool put in. Not some above ground pool, whatever. I want a genuine, real pool. A real swimming pool. Like in-ground swimming pool. Have to pay a pool person to come tend to it, on the weekly kind of thing. That's what I want. And I know they're expensive to maintain, but that's what I want. And that's what I'm hoping to be able to do. But this place has such a massive yard. I want to do a swimming pool. I don't want to do a basic, plain old swimming pool. I want like an oasis type setup. I want it to have like a big sunshade thing all set up on it. I'd love to have a solid set gazebo out there with like a nice swing on it. I want a fire pit nearby. I want to have like an oasis out there so that in the winter months, we can have a fire pit going and enjoy outside. I want to be able to heat the pool during the winter so we can swim whenever we want. Like that's what I want. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I want. The house could be, you got a new job. Nice. Are you still out in like the Vegas area? But like for me, the house could be super small. Like, for me, I'm totally fine with it. We don't need a massive house. And as long as I have a huge yard that I can put time and effort into outdoors. Also with this yard, there's this one side area that has been already like set up. They already have planter beds in it. And I'm like, that's exactly what I need. It has planter beds already set up. You visit Vegas? Okay. And the only thing that needs to be replaced on it, because it looks like they took it down due to probably the wind and whatnot, is like the green, we call it green screening. not in the filming green screening sense, but green screening for growing plants out here. It helps protect the plants from being burnt by the sun here. And so they have these gorgeous planter beds. They're already raised. They're already there, ready to go. All you got to do is till them and put new soil in and start gardening and get the top put on. You're in Peoria? Awesome. Sweet. See, there you go. So yeah, it's like, I love that property for all the potential that it has. And I would love to be able to get that property and put a big old swimming pool in. But yeah. Oh, you work at Kohl's. Nice. Kohl's is a pretty good place. Like I like Kohl's. Our Kohl's here though, I'm not a big fan of the Kohl's that we have here, but it's not bad. It's just not my favorite thing. By the way, if you guys have not been on my page, like on my Instagram page, I posted a video. I posted a video yesterday of Rigby with Sarah, and I'm not even kidding you guys. He's a huge cat. Hold on. Let me see if I can get I want to get a stopping moment with him. He is a massive cat. Like, people just don't understand how big this cat is. This is Rigby with Sarah. Okay, so Sarah's laying down, and that's Rigby on top of her. He's decided to exfoliate her skin for her. He's huge, okay? This cat is huge. Stop. I don't want you to, like, keep playing. I was trying to see if we could get that stopping point was really funny. Like, you guys, I'm telling you, this cat is massive. They're doing good, actually, or as good as can be, Pallavi. Taylor's actually at work right now, so he's at work. And Sarah is asleep right now. I don't know how much you've got caught up on, Pallavi. I'm not sure, like, how far back or how much you've missed. But Sarah right now is struggling a bit. So in 3.5 weeks, the 15th, on August 15th, would have been her due date from Penelope. And that is, it's really hard on her right now, because if you've been around, she delivered Penelope on January 27th. And of course she was, miscarried, a late miscarriage. An early miscarriage. I could say it was a first trimester miscarriage. It was 12 weeks. And so this month, the 27th of this month, she would be turning 7 months old if she had been born alive, which of course would not happen because she was 12 weeks along. So it's a rough, these next couple of weeks are going to be super, super rough. On top of that, because she did conceive again after Penelope, she conceived again in April, which was 4 months later. She tried again, and she conceived and lost that one at just before 9 weeks. Like, she was a couple of days from hitting 9 weeks. So that little one would now be turning 2 months old. So that is a really, really hard thing for her right now, is that she's going through a whole lot of depression and stuff like that. So she is seeking help. She does have an amazing support group behind her, but that doesn't mean that it goes away and that it makes it any easier. Caitlin, oh my goodness. Hello, Caitlin. Haven't seen you in here in a while. So yeah, that's kind of what's been happening. So I'm hoping that when she gets up, because I did, like, usually she's the one that kind of tends to the house and the house chores, stuff like that, other than, like, my room is my problem. Her room is hers. Like, she takes care of her room and the bathroom. I take care of my room and my bathroom. And then, like, the living space, Sarah usually would normally take care of that while I'm at work, because I do work outside the house. So Sarah tends to kind of keep up with the inside of the house. Well, of course, with depression and everything that's been going on, those things have kind of slipped up and whatnot. So while she was sleeping, I went through and got everything done. I did the cat room. I got all the litters all changed, which I change the litter every week anyway, like put new litter in. I scoop it every day, but I put new litter in it every week. That'll be up to her. Right now, I don't think she has any. As of right now, she's trying to get through the whole, hello, sorry, it's been a long time. My mom has been going through a lot. Basically, my family's, and she's got this condition called calciphylaxis. So she has like 6 months to. Oh, I'm so sorry, Caitlin. Hang in there, honey. That's rough. Yeah, Pallavi right now with everything going on, because Penelope's due date's right around the corner and stuff like that. It's just super, super hard for her right now. Like it's really hard for Sarah right now. So, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Caitlin. Hang in there, honey. Hang in there. Like that's rough. Hang in there. So yeah, right now, as far as things go right now, there's a whole lot of things happening all at once. But while she was asleep today, I went ahead and I went and got like a Swiffer. That sounds so stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah. She's a fighter though, Caitlin. So every little bit that she's able to be there, every day that she's there is a blessing. So keep hanging in there and keep your head up and just be there for her. Just be there. That's all you can do. Be there and love her to the moon and back, But I went and bought a Swiffer, and I got these pet things that are with the Swiffer. Now, this is so gross. I'm not even kidding. But I don't know if any of you have ever owned a dog that has a very thick undercoat, but Godric has two different types of coats, right? So because of his breed, because he is a really weirdly mixed breed, he has a coat like a husky. He has that outer coat, which is kind of more like coursey type fur. And then underneath, he's got this really thick, like almost like a damn sheep. Okay. You had a job in a grocery store, but lost it in like 10 months. It wasn't the best vibe. Yeah, exactly, Pallavi. But Godric shakes or anything, and it's like a whole dog comes off of him. Not even kidding. Okay, this dog has so much hair. We sat outside and brushed him the other day. And I'm not even kidding. I ended up with an entire other dog of hair from Godric. So today, when Sarah was asleep, I went out there and I pulled everything out of the living room. Took the kennels out, shook the beds out, all that stuff. And then I took the Swiffer with the doggy hair collector and started Swiffering. And ew, what? I had just vacuumed all the flooring. I have a regular vacuum thing that's made for like hard floor, right? So because we have all tile. And so I decided to vacuum first, and I'm glad I did. But then I took the Swiffer over it, and I still ended up, I'm not even kidding, with a clump of hair about this big. Even after I vacuumed the whole floor. Ew. Called Bashes. Oh yeah, my aunt used to work for Bashes when they had one in Needles, and then she moved to the one in Lake Havasu. I have a doggy too, but she hates water. Yeah, no, my dogs all love water. I love using the Swiffer cleaning with it. It's so much easier. It is. And then I bought these. It's made for when you have pets. It's the cleaning pads for the Swiffer as well. And so you get the ones that you can either do just like your basic Swiffer cleaning pads, which are the wet, moist ones, or you can do the ones that are heavy duty for for people with pets. And because we have pets, I make sure that I really heavy duty want to clean things. Usually do like the mop and bucket thing, but that's just a whole nother mess and thing that my whole house is tile. So whatever. So the Swiffer things I found have been so much easier to deal with. So I did the floor with that, and I was like, whoa. So my floors are really clean. And then I did like emptied out the one closet, got the rest of Grandma and Grandpa's stuff out of there, got that boxed up. Still got a couple more items left to get out of the house that were Grandma and Grandpa's. But other than that, we're pretty close to like almost down to just our stuff, almost. I still have the massive sewing cabinet. That's not going anywhere. That thing is just, it's so heavy. You need like 6 men to move it. So that's not going anywhere anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to try to relocate it from where it is because I don't like that it's sitting right in my dining room. I want my dining space set up a little bit different. So anyway, that's a whole nother mess. But we'll figure that thing out here with soon enough. But also, I was grossed out because there was so much dog hair left over after even cleaning the floors. I was like, what the heck? And then I did all the dishes. I washed every cabinet down. I even took, because I love my grandparents. I love my grandparents. I love my grandparents. Clearly, they have not had anybody help take care of the property in a long time. And the drawers in the kitchen, I don't know who did it. I'm going to guess Grandma did. Grandpa built the drawers. Grandma tried to line them with like these like drawer liners, but she used like this really thick rubber stuff. Hope she's doing okay. She's actually sleeping right now. But they didn't like cut it to fit the drawer. So they kind of were like folded up, and all this debris or whatever over these. We haven't been using those drawers because I knew I needed to take them completely apart and like clean them. So that's what I did today. And now that they're all cleaned, I'm like, oh my God, it was so gross. Because they're in their 90s. Like my grandpa's 97 and Grandma passed away last year. And so nobody been here to help like take care of the house or take care of the property or any of that stuff. And so I pulled it all apart, and it's just was several years of stuff being accumulated in there and them not having the energy and none of the family coming up to like help them out. It was just, yeah. So I got it all cleaned out. Like I spent hours today completely scrubbing them. Like I emptied it out. I pulled all the lining out because it was first it was incorrectly put in, which meant that stuff got underneath, which caused it all to like start to become lifted, whatnot. So I pulled all of it out, scraped it out with the scraper, got all the glue removed, everything, and then relined it with a new liner and got all of that done. And now it's useful. They're useful. I'm using the drawers because there's now a way to use them. So the next step now, what I want to do is go in and pull the liners out of the cabinets. Even though I've already washed those, like when we first moved in, I got all that washed. But now I want to pull the liners out of there and put fresh new lining in because I've got a whole bunch of lining. I've got like rolls upon rolls of this new lining. So I want to get that put in there. And then I think like I want to make sure that the house is in great shape so that when we move out, it will allow when my pops and them decide to rent the property out, which I think they're going to do. I'm kind of sad to see anybody else come up here. But when they decide to rent the property out, at least it will be in good working condition, right? Good. And it'll be in good condition. I do have paint. Now that I've got the paint, I want to come in here and I want to paint the kitchen. I want to get it all brightened up because right now the color scheme is very dark. Like it's a very dark, everything's kind of really muted in color. And I don't like that. I want to brighten this place up. I want to give it some life. And so that's kind of the next step, getting these chocolate brown cabinets. Like the doors on the cabinets are not brown, but the cabinets themselves are. Like what? So I want to get all that painted. I do not want to paint at all the actual cabinet doors. Those are going to come off and get put to the side because they are a shellacked wood. My grandpa spent years putting those together, making those. I want to keep those exactly how he made them. Everything else I want to get painted. I think all older people should have someone checking. Yeah. And that's the thing is there was people checking in on them, but nobody would stay and like help maintain the property. Nobody would come up and actually like clean and like do the floors and clean the cabinetry. Like for me, every single house I've ever lived in, I always spent every week. I would have my day off on the week. I'd do my work week. And then my first day off, I would pull everything out of the cabinets, right? Everything out of the cabinets, everything out of the drawers, and I'd wipe everything down. And then you'd set everything back in. You've been struggling. Yeah. And that's the thing is, I worked for 23 days straight, right? I worked 23 days in a row, which left me no time. Because if you guys have been with me for a while now, the past year, I drive 2 hours to work 10 hours, and drive 2 hours home. So that makes a 14-hour day. By the time I get home, I'm exhausted, right? I get home at 10:30 at night. And I try most nights to try to cook something up really quick, wash the dishes that I use for cooking, and then sit back, eat, and be in bed by midnight so that I can be back up at 7 a.m. and head out by 8 o'clock. Because then I drive it from 8, and then I get to work by 10 o'clock, open the shop from 10 to 8, and then I leave the shop because, of course, by the time I finish, I close the shop at 8 o'clock. But then I have to do all of the nightly wrap up, right? So you got to do the count out, you got to do inventory stuff, and then leave. So I leave by 8:30, make it home by 10:30. You want to sleep? I wish, right? Like, sleep? What do you mean sleep? What is this thing that people talk of sleep? Right? So for 23 days straight, this is what I was doing. I was driving 2 hours, working 10, driving 2 home, driving 2 hours. So there was supposed to be this window where you're supposed to get some rest in there. But I wasn't like really getting any kind of rest. My body does not recover like other people. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. When I go to sleep at night, when I go to bed, I don't sleep. I get like a couple of hours here and there, and it's always broken apart. It's always sporadic. Some nights I get 0. Other nights I'll get like a good solid 2-hour stretch, and I'll sleep for 2 solid hours, but then I'll wake up and can't get back to sleep for another 3, and then fall asleep. And next thing you know, my alarm's going off, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm up again. So it's just a hot mess. Anybody that has their gallbladder removed, because I've had it removed 2 years now, and ever since then I've been having so many problems with what? Like, you can't have problems with your gallbladder if you've never had it out. My aunt had hers removed. Oh, geez. When was it? What year? 2010? Was it 2010? Because I got back here in 2009. So 2010, she had her gallbladder removed because I helped take care of her during it. She says it was the best decision she ever had done. But she also had to give up several things to make sure that it stayed good, which was she doesn't drink any more dark sodas. Her biggest culprit was that she was a huge Dr. Pepper person. Like, she drank Dr. Pepper like it was water. Gone like, and when I try to explain to people like what's going on, they like don't believe me or rub it off. It's annoying. Same. I need a day to recharge between activities. Yeah, exactly. Can't lie. I have mine removed. Yeah. Oh, yours is gone. Okay. I was like, what do you mean you're having trouble with it? So, I mean, are you having trouble with like the recovery of it, or like you're still having issues like you had before it was removed? Because that's something that I talked to my doctor about, because I was going to have my gallbladder removed, but I still have mine. But like the doctor said that all the problems I was having, removing the gallbladder doesn't guarantee to get rid of the issues. It could get rid of the issues, but it's not a guarantee. Now, my aunt was lucky enough that when she had hers removed, her biggest things, though, like I said, is one, she drank Dr. Pepper like it was candy, like it was water. It was her favorite thing in the world. She got rid of she doesn't drink any dark sodas. She also doesn't drink any like drinks that have red dye in them. That was the other big thing. Once she got rid of those things, and she weaned off of those things, got away from those things before her surgery. Once they did her surgery and got her gallbladder out, she has stayed away from those things since then. And she's had no more issues that she was having previously. Like, she would have the worst indigestion, heartburn, vomiting every time she would try to eat or drink anything. It was just horrible. And I thought I was going through that same thing, because I thought maybe it was something like hereditary. But yeah, I definitely have a bad gallbladder. We already know that. I have massive flare-ups. I get gallstones, but there are things that I've been able to do to avoid having to have surgery. Yeah, 2 years, and ever since then, I can't eat without running to the bathroom 5 minutes or 10 minutes after I eat everything. Oh yeah, still having issues like I've had removed. Yeah. And that's the thing, Caitlin, if that was something you were experiencing before having it removed, it's not guaranteed to fix that after having it removed. So it might be, I'm going to guess it's a problem. You might have irritable bowel syndrome. You don't sleep since having the baby. I'm so sorry, Tiffany. It made things worse with my stomach. Like I keep getting sharp pains on my left side and the right side, but I've also got a fatty liver. Yeah, that's true. You know what? I don't really know. I think it's like it kind of collects minerals and type stuff. Like I would just Google exactly what the gallbladder's job is. It's not really that big of a job, which is why they can remove it. But then again, once you do remove it, there are things you have to take into consideration once it's gone. But there are people that still experience, like, it could be a gallbladder issue and why you were having those symptoms before. But you might also want to talk to a doctor about irritable bowel syndrome. You might have IBS, which, hello, I suffer with that. And there are days where all it takes is me eating something and I'm on the toilet for hours because it just sets it off. And if I put something in my mouth, it's coming out the other end in 10 minutes. And so I would talk with your doctor about having IBS. Like they want to do, an endoscopy, but my dad thinks, oh, you need to just try a acid reducer. I've tried acid reducers. They don't help nothing. Yeah. And that's the thing, because you might not need an acid reducer. You might need what do they call it? A proton inhibitor. It's actually I would talk to a doctor about an inhibitor, which will allow less of your little like the little guys that make the acid. It will help shut some of them down so you make less. That was one of the big things they put Taylor on when he was on his tube feedings, and it made a massive difference on, hello, fly, the massive difference on whether or not he would have absolute issues with having diarrhea. The gallbladder is an organ that's found in your abdomen. Yeah, its function is to store bile until it's needed for digestion. Yep, when we eat, the gallbladder contracts or squeezes to send bile into your digestive tract. Gallbladder disorders such as gallstones are common digestive conditions. Yep, that's exactly how it's doing when I eat. Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is, because you don't have your gallbladder anymore, you're not having, like what this thing says, you don't have bile being sent to your intestines, right? So it's not being sent down your digestive tract. And so because you are no longer having bile sent into your digestive tract, your body is making up the difference by producing stomach acid. So normally when you produce stomach acid, gallbladder issue, so stomach acid comes up, you eat, and then what will happen is any remaining stomach acid gets stored in the gallbladder and produced as bile to go down into your digestive tract for the next time around. Now, here's the problem. Once you take the gallbladder out of commission, right, it's gone. Now all you have is a rapid amount of stomach acid. And if you don't have a proton inhibitor to allow you to slow how much stomach acid you're producing, then you are literally accelerating when you put food in your stomach to when it's coming out the other end, which can trigger irritable bowel syndrome. Once your bowels are irritated and they have been inflamed and you have issues with it, which, by the way, I only have problems with IBS when I'm having a lupus flare-up. My digestive tract gets completely destroyed when I have a flare-up. Do you know how they test you for irritable bowel syndrome? It would be, you'd have to go talk to a doctor. I actually had a scope done and found the first time they said it wasn't that. But then when I found out that I had lupus and I had a full flare-up going on, they also tested me then at that same time and found that my bowels were very irritated. Every time the thought of food sent my whole insides going completely berserk. I would eat something, take like 2 or 3 bites. I'd feel like I overate, and then I would be on the toilet for forever because it would just be all coming out of me. I mean, to the point I was sitting there feeling like I had to go and I didn't have anything left to go. Yeah, they can. And they'll also do, what do they call it? They'll have, like, what I did and whatnot is I had this little thing I had to carry. They have you swallow this. It's like, it looks like a pill. But anyway, you swallow that, and then they track it until the machine says that it's no longer, it's because you're gonna poop it out, and then you just flush it. But it's gonna come through your system, and when the machine tells you that it no longer detects it, that means you've already passed it. Then you take the machine back into the doctor, which is what I did. And mine did a 3-day. It took 3 days for everything to process. You have a paralyzed stomach. Oh man, Tiffany, I remember you saying something about that previously. That's so scary. Wow. The way you explain it sounds like my mom. Yeah. Right? Like, it's, oh my gosh, holy cow. And so I know because when I got diagnosed with lupus back in 2019, that was terrifying, you guys, like, because it was terrifying, but then it was also like, oh my God, I finally have an answer. And to look back now, to know that more than likely it's been something I've had for years and didn't know that that was the reason. And it explains so much. It explained going back 5-6 years of issues that I kept running into and problems that I kept running into health-wise that we couldn't figure out. Like, we had all these different things and I was being treated for all these different things, but none of it made sense as to what was the main culprit, what was causing all these symptoms. Because that's all my doctors were treating, was just the symptoms. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. Thank you for helping me out. I've been dealing with this before and after I got my gallbladder out. Like, I just want answers. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that's the hardest thing, Caitlin, is getting answers and pushing for answers. Like, you have to be your own advocate, by the way. And that's something I have, after learning that from somebody else, like somebody else saying, you have to be your own advocate for your own healthcare, because nobody else will. Not even your own doctors will be your advocate. You need to be your own advocate. You need to request things from your doctor. You need to tell your doctor, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I think I might be suffering from. And I've done this research, and this research. I've looked into this, and this. Could you please do me the great honor of please testing me for these things, so that at least I will, if they come back negative, then I know that I can look at this avenue instead of that. So can we please, you need to advocate for your health. That is a huge thing. I would have never thought of lupus. It never was a thing in my mind. And it happened to be that there was a nurse at one of the places that I was going to for my blood pressure. And she made a comment because I had come in again. And if you guys were with me in 2019, you will know that I rapidly lost a huge amount of weight, unintentionally. I had not intended to lose a massive amount of weight. It was the worst way possible to lose weight. I had started off the year with a new nutritionist. I was doing really good. I felt like I was on the right path. And then all of a sudden I got really sick. Like, my body would shake all the time. I kept getting super dizzy. I was like, even the thought, like, I would be so hungry, you guys. I can't even explain it to you. I was so flipping hungry and I couldn't even take a bite of food. The minute I would try, it's called a SMART pill test. Yeah. And they literally check everything. Like, they check your acid levels, your production levels, the squeezing, your contraction strength in your bowels. It tests everything. And that's how I found out I had irritable bowel, was that test. But like, it was bad. And this was like back, of course, during this same time I'm talking about. I couldn't even smell food without starting to dry heave. It was so bad. And all I kept thinking was, and I would cry, you guys, I would cry so much because I was so hungry. Like, all I kept thinking was, I just want to eat. I just want to take food and take a bite. I just need something. And the minute I would take a bite of food, because I was so hungry, I would just start to vomit and I would start to dry heave because I had nothing in there. And then my bowels would act up because I took a bite of food. Or I would try to drink something. Like, the biggest thing that I found that I could drink in sips was Sierra Mist. And I don't even like Sierra Mist, but I would sip at Sierra Mist when I was at work. And I found that I could do that in very small increments, But then I started to get like, everybody at work started noticing I had like, my pants were too big. My shirt started being like baggy on me and hanging off me. My cheeks got sunk in. I would shake constantly, like my hands and everything were constantly shaking. I would get super dizzy and really, really weak. At one point, I had to just sit. I was right in the middle of the line, like the packing line for doing the food, and I ended up just sitting down on the floor because I couldn't stand up anymore. Like I just kind of started shutting down. And that's when my boss, my partner in crime, Carol, said, "You need to go to the hospital." And I went to the hospital again for like, at that point, like the second or third time. And the nurse that was there at that office said, "Have you ever been tested for lupus?" And I was just like, no, like, why would I ever be tested for lupus? She goes, "Well, it's not necessarily a test. It's an assortment of tests. It's like several different things will come into play that would determine whether or not that this is what this is." And so I was like, okay. So I went in, they did the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. And so they took like spinal fluid. So I guess it's what they call like a spinal tap or whatnot. They wanted to test that first. I think they said they wanted to test for something else. And I forgot what the name of it's called, where they test through your spinal fluid. They wanted to test that first. And I think it's, oh my God, it's a big name thing. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, so they pulled tests for that. And then I went in and they had a bunch of other stuff. So they did the pill swallow thing that took 3 days for that to do its thing. And then I had a bunch of blood work done, like a huge workup of blood work done. It was a hot mess. Yeah, it's a spinal tap, but they were testing for a certain, it's like a certain illness. I really forgot what it was called. But it came back that was negative for the test that they were actually doing it for, but they ran other extra tests for lupus as well. But because you can't really test for lupus through that. That's not what you don't test that and all of a sudden they say, yeah, you have lupus. There's certain things that factor into diagnosing lupus. It's like several different tests come together and say, okay, so these are the outcomes of these tests. This is going to be the outcome of that. So yeah, that's what they were testing for, meningitis. Thank you. I was like, I don't remember what the name is. Yes. That's what they were testing for, was meningitis at that time because I was so sick. So that's what they were testing for, but that came back negative. Thank goodness. Cause that is terrifying. But it was several different tests. I had a bunch of blood work done and they came back and they said, we're pretty sure that you do have lupus. And so I was like, all right. And so she goes, we're going to start treating you as a lupus patient. And so they put me on some medication. And I remember thinking to myself, all I wanted, one, was to eat something. Two was to please make my skin stop burning. Like, I guess it's not technically burning. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. When I have a flare up, if you've ever had a sunburn, this is the only way I can describe it. I've described it to this people 100 times. When you get a sunburn and it's like, as it heals, right? Like, so you're back to being like regular color, you're not red anymore, but then you get that itch and then you scratch at that itch and then all of a sudden it's under the surface and you realize, oh yeah, you still have a sunburn. Like, it may not be red on the outside anymore, but boy, do you still feel it underneath. That sensation of pain under the surface of the skin. It's not on top of it, it's underneath. That goes all over, like from head to toe. My whole body feels that way, like as if though somebody's scratching a sunburn all over me. It is painful and extremely uncomfortable. And so when I go into a flare-up, they give me medication to help with pain management, but then also I have to take medication that helps me like not throw everything up. Have to take a lot of meds. No. Hope, no. It depends. And I guess you'd say it depends on each person because lupus is not the same for everybody. Like when you look at certain cancers, right? Like it's a certain kind of cancer, everybody gets the same treatment for that cancer because that cancer is going to react the same way or it's going to manifest in the same way because it's that type of cancer, like breast cancer or whatnot. They know how to treat those things. With lupus patients, it manifests differently in every single person. No, it's not too personal. So every person that has it, lupus will depend on what part of the body it's decided it's against. So it is an autoimmune disorder. It's where your own body starts fighting its own self. Like for me, my digestive system seems to be its target. It goes after my digestion, and my skin. For some reason, your skin being an organ as well, it loves my skin for some reason, and it loves to make me feel like I'm absolutely on fire. And so like there's some people where lupus attacks their heart and it makes their heart weak and it causes problems with their heart. People like Selena Gomez, who had her kidneys were her target. Like lupus attacked her kidneys. She ended up having to have a kidney transplant and also had to have chemo to take care of a lot of that. So going like some people with lupus go through chemo treatments to help protect certain organs that are being attacked by the lupus. So it would depend on how it manifests in you. And that's why sometimes it's really hard to diagnose it, or why it takes so long for some people to get diagnosed, because of the way it manifests, the way the symptoms present themselves. And my symptoms were super weird. And so I have had digestive issues for forever. Well, you're welcome. So for me, I kept going in and was like, why is it I have these months where I'm totally not able to eat? Like, why is it like I want to eat? I love food. Let's be real. I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to make, I love to be in the kitchen. And I would get to these sections and these times during the year where I just couldn't, like, no matter how hard I tried, I would just get so sick. And the constant, like, I would tell people, like, in my family, God, my skin hurts. Like, what is with my skin? Why do I feel like I've been out in the sun? And I hadn't been. So I would just have these moments where, what is happening? And I would try lotions and I would try all these things thinking maybe I used a wrong detergent. Those were what my mind would go to, because like you would never think that it was actually a underlying medical issue. Then I kept having problems with my blood pressure dropping. Like my blood pressure would just would drop out from underneath me. And that has a lot to do with the fact that I was not being able to eat. So my body not having the nutrition it needed. And of course, when you're not eating right and you're, I guess you could say, like my stomach and my bowels and everything weren't getting the proper usage, so to speak, your blood isn't getting into things properly. And so you start to, like, you'll have these moments where my heart and stuff would just literally suck all what little bit of blood it had in it, like what little bit of pressure I had would get pulled into my heart to get my other organs warmed back up, and I would faint. I would just hit the floor. My blood pressure would just plummet out. And then we started noticing that my blood pressure was staying low. It wouldn't come up. Like I would start doing activities, like they would get, like when they did me on, oh my God, they put me on the treadmill, and I did the treadmill, and we got to where I was at like a full run, and my blood pressure wasn't coming up like it's supposed to. Like as you're exercising, your heart rate comes up and your blood pressure should rise because you're pumping more blood through your body. But my heart rate would start to climb, but my blood pressure would just kind of stay plateaued out, or it would start to lower. And then I'd start to get dizzy. Then my heart would start to race really, really fast because the blood pressure wasn't rising with it, which is what it should do. And then I'd pass out. And so they were like, I mean, when they did all these tests, they were like, okay, so here's what's happening. And since finally being diagnosed in 2019, one of the medications that I go on and off of, and it's one of the things, and you will notice too, when it happens, when I go back on it's called it's Florinef. It's Florida something cortisone. It's a corticosteroid. When I go on that during my flare up, which is to help keep my blood pressure up, I will start to get balloon face. So my face will go rounded out. Right now I'm no longer on the medicine. If you saw me a couple weeks ago, you would have noticed that my face when I did a live stream was round and puffy. And that is because I was back on a steroid. I've now come back off of it. My blood pressure has stabilized, but we are concerned because I just finally recovered from a flare up, and we think I'm headed back into another one. We think maybe we stopped a little bit early. because everything seemed to be right. Like my blood pressure was started to go too high. And that's how we know when I need to come off the Florinef, is when my blood pressure starts to get too high, because then it's come back to like a normal state. And so the steroid is causing it to go up. And we don't want it to do that. We want to stay at a healthy blood pressure. We don't want my blood pressure rising. So my skin has been still recently, the past couple of weeks, still been very tender. But last week I noticed that it was definitely starting to burn again. And I was like, okay, wait a second. I thought we were past this. And the last 2 days, every time I take a bite of food, I'm back in the bathroom. So like earlier today, I was so hungry. I didn't even care. I ended up eating a bowl of pasta. And needless to say, it stayed in this part of me for about 15 minutes, and then it came out. So my body said, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, so I think we jumped the gun on stopping 2 of the other meds. So I called in, or I should be able to have those picked up on Monday. But the one medicine I take, which is to help with the nausea, so my stomach freaking out, that medicine really does work really well. It settles everything down and I can eat without throwing up. And it also keeps me from having my lower side freaking out at the same time. So it's a great medication. It's so amazing especially for heartburn issues. But the only thing is, like, the purpose of that is it does slow your digestion down, like by a long shot. So when you take it, everything kind of goes into slow-mo, which is great. But it also means that when it's going in, it takes it a lot longer to come out, which is what you want anyway, because you don't want to be on the toilet 10 minutes later. But when I say it slows it down, I mean it slows it down. So I could eat maybe once or twice a day, but I probably can only go to the bathroom like maybe once every 3 days before anything finally makes its way out the other end. Because the medication does slow. When I say slow, I mean it practically puts the brakes on. But at least I'm able to put something in my stomach. So I try to eat light so that I don't feel the I'm going to die of hunger sensation. But I also try not to eat anything of a heavy consequence, because if it's a heavy consequence, it's going to be a heavier consequence coming out the other end when it finally chooses to. But yes, I'll pick that up on Monday. And hopefully by then I'll actually be able to put something in my mouth. But like, I think we jumped the gun a bit on thinking that we were over the hurdle, because I have noticed that since we pulled off of everything, thinking we had a good grip on it, it came back with like, oh no, we weren't finished yet. But my blood pressure is great. So we're not on the cortisone, but the steroid, the corticosteroid. God, that is such a hard word to say. A corticosteroid, which it raises my blood pressure. So we come off of that once my blood pressure starts going too high. So when they get a blood pressure read, which we take my blood pressure 4 times a day while I'm on it. And once my blood pressure goes past 125 over like 70, then we start weaning back, because my blood pressure when I'm not on it will normally set at about 95 over like 62 is usually where my blood pressure sits. So when we take the medication, we want my blood pressure to at least level out at about 115 to 110 to 115 over about a 65 to 70. If we can keep it at that, we're okay. But when it starts to climb past that, then I start to get the symptoms of somebody with high blood pressure. And we don't want that. That's not good. So it's like a little balancing act. But yeah, when I'm not in a flare-up, I am on no medications, which is great. So, but when I have one, and that's something you have to, when you have lupus, you do pay attention to every little symptom your body presents. And so that's something that I watch for. And the first indicator that I always get is my skin. My skin gets that weird sunburn sensation. And now it's to the point where, yeah, it's painful. Like I can feel it. Like it's there, but because it's now a pain that I'm used to, it's just annoying. So it's not like painful as in, oh my God, I can't survive. I can't do anything. It's now a pain that is just dang right annoying. Like I feel it. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't matter which way I sit, whatever clothing I put on, however I lay, it's there. It's like when you have a sunburn and you cannot get comfortable at the end of the day. Like you just want to go to sleep, but no matter which way you lay or whatnot, you can't get comfortable because the sensation is there. That irritating pain is there. That's what I have. So it's now to a point where it's sad when you get to a point in your, like in an illness or whatever, that you're so used to the sensations of it that it just becomes an annoyance versus an actual like debilitating situation. The first few times that I had it, it would stop me because I would be in tears. I couldn't get comfortable. I would get annoyed because no matter what I did, I was hurting. And now it's like, it starts up and I'm like, oh, here we go again. I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know I'm going to be not able to sleep correctly. I know that I'm going to just pour sweat the minute I close my eyes, which I do. I only have that problem when I'm having a flare up. Like if I lay down, like when I'm having a flare, I don't even put covers on. I'm like, forget it. I'm not putting a blanket on me because I'm just going to start pouring sweat. So yeah, so that happens. But other than that, you guys, like I'm like in health wise, other than like I have lupus, that's just part of who I am. I'm great. But I know like, with everything else that's going on in life, like hopefully before Christmas, I'm hoping before Christmas, but I don't know if it'll happen until just after Christmas, but maybe by then this market will figure itself out. I really just want us to get moved into our own, like I want to own it. I want it to be mine. I want it in my name. I've worked my booty off for this. I have my loan approval. I have everything ready to go. I just want my own house. I want it to be mine. And after we own the house, the next step after that is buying an RV. And I know exactly what I want. I'm not even going to say it because if I could draw it up, I'm not even kidding you guys. If I could draw up exactly the one that I want and have it custom made, that's what I would do because I have exactly in my mind. I know it. I can see it. Like I can open the door to it and look at it from right here in my brain. And I can tell you exactly how I want my RV laid out. Like, I'm like, this is exactly what I want. I want it to look exactly like this. And if I could do that, if there was somebody that knew how to or was willing to completely custom build an RV for me, that's what I'd do. You're going to head to bed? All right, get some rest. Yeah, I'm going to get off here in just a minute because I am going to go clean up the dishes from cooking, and then call it an evening because I've got a mess to clean up tomorrow. I made an absolute disaster in here. I don't even know, you guys. Anybody else done that where they were just like, I just want to clean all this because I don't own anything else. Like, this is it. What's in my room, this is what we own. Like, other than the furniture that's out there, like the couch and the TV and my dishes. Like this, what's in my room, this what I own. Like this, when we move, it's literally like a small U-Haul worth of stuff. That's it. Like we really just don't have a lot. I'm going to make my own desk tomorrow, by the way. I'm using the broken bookshelves because I was like, well, what am I going to get rid of them for? It's usable wood. So I'm going to disassemble them. Well, they're already practically disassembled. I'm going to finish taking them apart. And then I'm going to build a desk out of them. Yep, because I have some really nice wood screws. So I'm going to get the wood screws out, the wood glue, and I'm going to build my own desk. Because that little table that's weak is not going to work. But yeah, so you guys are fantastic. I loved having a chat with you guys today. This made me feel so much better, especially after my community issue earlier, and telling you about that when we came in here. When you start to build a community and your community starts to grow exponentially, stay humble. Remember where you started and where you came from and the people that were there from the start. I think that's important. And And not only to remember the people that started things and were there, but also the people that came in, and even when they didn't chat very often or when they didn't contribute to conversation, but were still there giving monetary support, but also view time support and keeping things going, like, and giving charitable support. Those kinds of things matter. And when you start to detach from those people or become too big for your britches or become egotistical, it chases people off, and your community doesn't become a safe place anymore. And it, like, this community that I was a part of was supposed to be like a safe space. It was supposed to be a space that you could go to and conversate and feel like you belonged there, like there was something in it, in a sense of family and connections and whatnot. And I thought that was really important, and to find a community of people that were like yourself, and then to find out that you were, in so many terms, not really welcome in the community anymore. Like, all of a sudden you didn't matter. Your support, your heart, and the things that you were a big part of in the beginning don't matter. Like, that is a harsh thing to do to the people that are a part of and have been a part of a community for a really long time. And so, yeah, enjoy chatting with you too. Yeah. And like I said, for me, even though I have the things that I have going on, I still feel good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I still feel like I've got it. Like, I've got a good grip on it. So I'm going to get off here though, and just say, like, I love our community, and I love, yeah, exactly. Remember your roots. Like, remember to ground yourself, like, in the now, like, where you are and where you came from. Like, stay humble, like, really stay humble. Like, I love our community. I love our conversations. I love the closeness. And I love that we can all, like, talk and be a part of, like, each other's, like, outreach. Like, we all can say, hey, thank you for being there for me, or thank you for just listening. Sometimes that's all you need, is just someone to listen. And sometimes you need someone to send you some positive energy. Sometimes you need help manifesting good things. And I've been a believer of this for a while, is that you can manifest things into your life, and you can will things into your life and into yourself and into your own being when you have that pull and that support and people backing you up in that. And I just stay humble. That's my biggest thing, is stay humble, and just always remember where you started and where you came from, because where you are now is because of where you started, and it's because of the people that started with you. And when you push those people away and out of your life, then what you're left with is the people that came in because they expect to receive something from you. And that's sad. It's sad because they expect these massive things from you, when in fact, they're not willing to give any of that in return. So it's one of those, it's a fine line to walk. And honestly, I would rather have this small community and the connection and the closeness and the rapport that we have, and the ability to conversate and communicate and be there for each other, than to have a massive community and very little communication. So, if that makes sense. Hi, Emily. So, Fizz Goblins. I love that last name. Fitzgoblins. It's Fitzgibbons. I'm sorry. I said your name so wrong. I'm sorry, Emily. Emily Fitzgibbons. So I'm going to get off here. I am going to go clean up the stuff that I did for dinner, and I am going to try to get some rest, like I said, because maybe tomorrow I'll live stream me going through all this mess. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if that's even interesting to anybody. It's probably not. It just is an absolute disaster of junk that needs to be thrown away. Like, it's not technically junk. It's just like stuff I'm not going to use. I know I'm not going to use it. It's sentimental stuff. And I really just, as much as I'm like, I'm so sentimental about it, I'm so attached to it, I need to let it go. Like, I need to let it go. There's no reason to hold on to it. It's not going to get used. It's not going to get put out. It's not going to be seen by anybody else. It's going to sit in a stupid box. Like, get a grip, get rid of it. I'm super minimalistic, and right now everything feels so cluttered. And I'm like, I've got too much stuff. I don't need this stuff. So time to do a declutter. Even though it's really not that much, it's still too much. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys. All right, I'm going to get off here because I'll sit here and chat all day or all night. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for hanging out and having conversation with me. And just even the little bit of time we all spent right here, it lifted my spirits. I have a better mental outlook. I really needed that bump up because I was super irritated when I started the stream. You guys have been amazing. And yeah, you guys have a great night. And maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.